Not through the vaccines, but one way we could do that is connecting more to nature.
What do you mean? What does connecting to nature mean? Eat some, what's it called, hemlock. That's very connected to nature, right, isn't it? You will die. Good morning everybody, welcome to today's episode of Slop, where today, nothing is happening in the world. Nothing. Nothing at all. That's why I'm scratching the absolute ballsack of the internet, just grabbing it deep and looking at Reddit. So what do we have here? Oh my god, wait, hold on. Dr.Mike was on the Jubilee 1 versus 20 Fortnite match?
I'd like to start by saying that HIV does not cause AIDS. AIDS is actually brought on when your white cell count goes below 200. So to say that HIV caused AIDS is inaccurate information. It actually,
But like, untreated HIV goes into AIDS, doesn't it?
when your blood cell count goes below 200, I do.
Is there anything I could say today that would change your mind?
I'm just asking your opinion.
I'm asking you a question.
Probably not, because I actually read and study.
Well,
Hold on, okay, we have something to watch. Gentlemen. Dr. Mike Jubilee. When did this shit come out? Oh my god, 20 hours ago. Never mind, there is something to watch. And this is 1 hour long, so like, I don't know how to edit this, so I'll see you when there is something interesting going on.
If we don't get vaccinated with Jesus, we will face God on Judgment Day.
I'm Dr. Mike.
Why do you, okay, Jubilee, I'm sorry, but why do you bring trolls, or not trolls, but like, why do you bring people who are missing the point? Like, you should put that bitch when they were talking about the Jesus debates, with like Alex Connor. Good video, by the way. Why is she here now? Now we're talking about health. We have my goat, Dr. Mike. What does my goat say?
My first claim is that anti-vaccine lies cost lives.
Yeah. How do you even disagree with that? Because there is no way you could disagree with that because he's saying lies. So you have to go into the definition of what you define as a lie with an anti-vaccine. Like, if someone stands up. Okay, not one.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Doing fantastic. Excited to talk about health.
I just had a baby, 7 months old. And, you know, my baby, I was like, no, I'm not getting any vaccines. The doctors came in, they made me feel like a very bad mother for not doing that, right? I was very pressured. And then I had a family friend who had a baby at the same time, was a few months in, gave vaccines to the baby. And the baby had seizures and has had seizures since. And I've also had a friend who I went on a mission.
Wow. I am worse than Dr. Mike because I'm just stopping the bitch right here. Now, is this the appropriate time to say that even though everyone's experience is valuable and good, that it's still like kind of anecdotal and on a research basis, it's not that important, no offense. Like, obviously sucks, you know, if a baby is hurt, but like, you cannot look at one instance. You have to look at a lot to see, what more is going on? Maybe that kid had maybe, I'm not saying that's the case, maybe the doctor injected him with like a, I don't know, ticking time bomb. The vaccines, am I right, fellas? Or maybe the kid had epilepsy or something. I don't know. So like, sucks for your friend, I feel bad, but like, you cannot look at one instance and be like, this is because of the vaccine. Look at 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, and let's talk about it then. What the fuck am I gonna title this video? Guy with no medical experience is yapping both over a doctor and over the anti-vaxxer. Stupid know-it-all yaps too much. That's the title.
The fact that anyone made you feel bad in the healthcare system, I feel like is a failure on us in the healthcare system, so I'm sorry that happened to you. In healthcare, it's very difficult to predict the future because there are so many unknowns and there's so many variables in healthcare. There are things that are that are outside of our control, and we try to do the best with the limited amounts that we can control. So when we see two things happen simultaneously in healthcare, sometimes we think they have caused one another. But unless we see a pattern of that happening over and over again on a large scale,
Right.
it's more likely that this is just a coincidence of things happening at the same time.
Health professional. I'm a board certified yapper, that's what I am. Oh, Dr. House? I'm Dr. Home. Bitch, I'm cozy and knowledgeable. Well, look at this shit, bro.
For example, I have a friend of mine who's a physician who vaccinates children very regularly. And they were about to give a child a vaccine, and before giving the vaccine, the child had a seizure. They went on and had more seizures throughout their life and ended up actually dying at a very young age because of a seizure disorder. But the vaccine was never given. Had that happened 2 minutes later, what do you think would have been in the mother's mind and in the father's mind in that situation, other than, I definitely think that vaccine caused that problem?
Also, can we agree? What the fuck? This bitch is not talking about Dr. Mike's prompt. Please. Like this moment, this very handsome man. Okay, I'm not even gay. Why do I say that? This guy comes up here, says a thing. This bitch ignores it and goes, "Actually, I have a different thing to say. It's not your program. Stick to your regularly scheduled programming."
I'm actually a fan of your channel. I've been watching for a while.
Thank you.
I am a pediatric hematology oncology nurse.
Wow, okay.
I think a lot of mistrust in my eyes,
Damn, how many verbs in that bitch?
seeing how like we were sold a bill of goods that we, the American tax dollars, paid for, while these pharmaceutical companies reaped millions and millions of profits on. And I think that caused the goalpost, oh, the vaccine, this mRNA vaccine, it's going to prevent the transmission of COVID, it's going to prevent you from getting it, and others, if you don't get this vaccine, you hate your grandmother, you're going to kill all these people, and you got to do your duty and get it. Well, you know what? My grandmother got it, and she died. I saw her take her last breath.
I'm sorry.
And it's a very profound thing to
apologize.
see someone that you love take their last breath and go on to whatever happens after.
Of course.
So when those seats, and it turns out the 6 feet of social distancing was not based on anything, how can you not expect people to question these higher institutions that are deemed to look out for the well-being of people, and they don't?
Dr. Korn here. Everybody fucked up. High key. First of all, Mrs. Doctor as well, why are you not sticking to the prompt? And second of all, was the entire world's response to COVID kinda mid? Yes. Didn't the UK spend like 30 million on an app that never worked? Or was it 30 billion? Oh, it was 30 billion, not 30 million. So, do I agree that the entire world's response to COVID is mid? Yes. Do I think that we should question the world leaders? Yes. The entire COVID situation was bad. But it wasn't all of that, to be fair. How many people died?
Ultimately, it's people's choice. Just like if someone wants to refuse a treatment, we give them an AMA form against medical advice. I think it's all up to people's choice and their autonomy.
Which it is, isn't it? Nobody is like sticking you with a vaccine. You have your choices, right? You have your choice to not take it, which you're fair to take, you know. But you have the consequence of that choice. Like, people may not want to be around you because they're scared that you're gonna transmit the virus. Oh my god, why am I so fucking yellow?
There was a few topics that you touched that I think are really worth discussing. First, bodily autonomy. I believe that, and that is the sole principle by which we practice medicine. Vaccines fall in a unique category because your decision on vaccinating your child and then sending them to school can impact other children in that school. So much like drinking and driving as an example, your choice to do that puts your life at risk, but it also puts others at risk. So we deem that as dangerous for the general public. This is why vaccines, it becomes a little more complicated when we talk about bodily autonomy. When it comes to our government, our mandates, pharmaceutical companies, there's absolutely reasons for distrust. I love that everyone in this room is a skeptic, and I encourage skepticism. I don't think anyone should just go into a doctor's office and say yes, 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 yes.
How you doing?
Pleasure to
Dr.
meet you.
Yes,
Jesus,
Roots
what the
God. Good to
jacket?
meet you as well.
Love the jacket.
Thank you so much.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
I really want to talk to you about this claim based on all of the other things that are causing disease, the chronic conditions that are in this country, all of the metabolic issues. And this
Why is nobody discussing his prompt? And why can I not get the lighting right? Am I stupid?
causing disease, the chronic conditions that are in this country, all of the metabolic issues, and this is stemming from colonization. Putting smallpox blankets on indigenous cultures, sterilizing people in Puerto Rico, Honduras, all of these different things that have happened. And if you look at Africa, oh, by the way, Bill Gates did say something interesting. The next war will be fought with biological warfare. And I think that was raising eyebrows, especially when you look at the Kissinger report, right? For those of you who don't know about the Kissinger report, it's all about pretty much reducing the population of the planet. So I don't know how you can make this claim and really defend vaccines in the nature and the world that we're living in, where we are actually...
Did nobody listen to his prompt? He says anti-vaccine lies cost lives. You can define, he is just saying that the truth should be out. But also, I may have not just like misunderstood my bro, but like, did he say all disease comes from colonization? And I went,
going away from nature, and the further we get away from nature, the more diseases we will see. So, you know, I'm very passionate about this, and I want to be able to have like a...
what? Brother, have you not heard of like, people in the medieval times were living closer to nature, right? They died more of sicknesses than any other people. So what do you mean we don't live close to nature? Nature wants to kill us. That's like the entire point of nature. The fittest survive. And humans bended nature, so now people with like sicknesses can survive, which they wouldn't have otherwise. People have the stupid ass argument that, hey, allergies didn't exist back in the day, and celiac disease didn't exist back in the day. Yes, it did, but the children who had it just died off. Because they couldn't eat the bread.
Yes, you're a medical doctor, but this is also a system that J.D. Rockefeller started, getting rid of all types of indigenous practices, and this land is stolen land. So when we're not even honoring the source, when we're not honoring the land, the ancestors, ancestral intelligence.
Okay, the problem of this perspective is that you're focusing just on America. How about all the countries where an indigenous population is a big part of them? Like, let's just say some tribes in Mongolia. Do you think they don't suffer from sicknesses? Because they do. How about some parts of rural China? They also suffer. And they have been living there. So like, disease is everywhere. I don't know what your point is.
And the ancestors, ancestral intelligence, the real AI. When we're not...
Did this motherfucker say ancestral intelligence, the real AI? Preach!
Even honoring these things, and we're just supposed to trust science. No, I trust my scientists. I trust Dr. Sebi. I trust Dr. Aris Atham. I trust Dr. Yaki. Because this system is not for us. It's not built for people like me. It's not built for any of us. Because even the opioid crisis, we saw a lot of Caucasian...
Okay, you know, the better way to formulate your argument, no offense, gang, would be a lot of studies were made or like tested like on middle-aged white people. So their symptoms that they're showing may differ from like black people and black women especially. Which that would be a fair argument. That's a very fair argument. The vast majority of studies back in the day were calibrated towards white men. So yes, most of the medicine is slightly skewed to that. But that's nowhere close, let's be very honest here. That's still a lot better than like 2000 years ago, some shaman giving you blood and eyeballs to make your leg regrow. So like, I don't know which point you're coming from, but since you're talking about nature, I'm taking you to like a very extreme angle, which I'm sorry for. Maybe that's not what he's talking about. Maybe he's just like talking about some very reasonable stuff. But most of like indigenous medicine, no offense, sucks. Other than very few select practices, most of them suck.
So how can you sit here and say that this vaccine is killing people when this system is currently killing people? When we even have to have an administration that comes in now and says, ooh, we got to start looking at all of these.
Yes, this system is killing people, but how many more people are dying in different systems? This system is not perfect, but it's the best we have currently. It's hard to make a good system. And why are we blaming the system for everything? Some things are also personal. Or some things are also genetic. Like if you get like, I don't know, some autoimmune disease, like Huntington's, you're kind of fucked. Let's be honest. I'm sorry to say if you have it. I'm really deeply sorry, but you're kind of fucked.
These different toxins in the food, in the medicine, in the soil. I don't think it's fair for us to take this vaccine when we're already being forced to take polluted food.
When you say take this vaccine, which vaccine are you talking about?
Well, really all of them. It should be a choice.
Bitch, it is.
Younger, I didn't take as many vaccines as the children have to take now. These
They don't
children
have
are
to.
sicker. They're going through more metabolic issues. They're having mental health issues. And now
The problem, my friend, the problem is that you're putting so many different issues together. You're missing his point. You're putting so many, you're combining so many deep issues like food. Yes, a lot of America eats very poorly. Food is expensive. That's bad. But you can't combine them and just like what you're talking about is like a mess, a jumbled mess, which I do a lot as well. I'm sorry. A jumbled mess of ideas, which I would hope you would like refine them into what causes what, so you could break down the root issue and not just jumble it all together. Wow, I be yapping a lot.
Now, I don't think it's just the vaccine. It's the system that's perpetuating this type of lifestyle. Yes, that child who was even in the hospital under those fluorescent lights, I'm not surprised that they had a seizure before, because this is an environment that is not conducive to life. This thing that I'm wearing on my chest is called an ankh. Y'all replace this. Y'all replaced our cultures. This life representing thing, you replace it with death culture. This is not a healthcare system, it's a sick care system. And honestly, I cannot sit here in good faith and not represent all of the people who have come before me.
Yeah, absolutely. I respect that.
Well, like, why are you saying y'all to Dr. Mike? He is just a doctor. He didn't put this system in place. He just works in it. Don't take out your anger on someone who's trying to help others. That's so stupid.
I came to the United States as an immigrant living on welfare, so I got put into this same system that you're describing. It's a shitty system. The world is changing in ways that make our lives more unhealthy. We're eating more processed food, we're exposed to more chemicals, usually as a result of products that we actually enjoy. So when I complimented you on that great jacket, when someone wears a specific pretty strap on their Apple Watch, there's chemicals in there, there's forever chemicals in there. So for every amazing thing that we have in society, there's been drawbacks. The good part about our society is that we're constantly monitoring those drawbacks and are trying to create solutions for our own problems. So when I think about our current healthcare system, where I think it needs to do better...
Whoa. Low-key, Dr. Mike, I kind of disagree with you. Yeah, we're monitoring for the drawbacks, but then more often than not, we're ignoring them if the profit margins are high enough. Like pharmaceutical and chemical companies dumping their waste into the water. Why? Because getting them properly disposed is expensive. So do we monitor them? Sure. Do we usually act upon them? Kinda no.
Is it needs to focus more on prevention rather than cures. Agree or disagree?
1,000%, yes, sir.
Do you know how we can do that?
Not through the vaccines, but one way we could do that is connecting more to nature. One way we could do that is making sure that we're not poisoning the food.
Okay, motherfucker, what do you mean? What does connecting to nature mean? Eat some, what's it called, hemlock. That's very connected to nature, right, isn't it? You will die. What does connect to nature mean? Is it Bluetooth? Is the Wi-Fi? Bluetooth device has been connected.
One way we could do that is treating each other better with more respect and actually getting rid of these systems that are putting us against us.
What does getting rid of the system mean? Anything you do is a system. Everything 20,000 years ago, when people were living in caves, that was a system. Some people go hunt, some people repair clothes, some people fucking cook food. That's a system. Everything you do, a system is just a word. Why do you use it so willy-nilly? No, Jesus Christ, I've been recording for 40 minutes. I might come back and do a part 2 right now. Either way, I gotta go to work. I might come back after work and do a part 2, or I might just film it another day and post another day. Either way, happy slop, and if I don't see you, good night, sleep well, have a good day. Love you. Mwah.